want you to imagine with me for a second that the Weather Service just issued a critical announcement. The frozen lakes will melt in 18 months. It's not maybe, it's not if, it's absolutely guaranteed. There's this one guy. He's lived his entire life on the frozen lake. He thinks that the frozen lake is predictable, steady. It's supported his entire life. It's where he lives, it's where he works, built his business on it, built his entire identity on it. This guy, he also sees the weather announcement. He sees the news progressing every single day. He even starts to see the cracks in the ice. People are telling this guy, get off the lake, man. The ice won't hold. The ice is literally like you're going to fall through. You don't know how to swim. Start learning how to swim. You're running out of time. He says, I can't right now. I've got a meeting. He's worried about his calendar, the fires that he's putting out in his house, which stands on the lake. And I really want you to imagine this because that is insanity. If this was a real scenario, just imagine how insane that would be. Someone living on top of ice, they know it's cracking, they know it's melting, they know everything that they've ever known that's supported where they live, where they've built their business. Their entire environment is guaranteed to change. And he's like, I got a meeting. I have something to do. My calendar's too busy. I can't make time to learn how to swim. I can't make time for that stuff because I have a meeting. Wouldn't you think he's insane? The obvious answer is yes, of course. It would be insane to just ignore all of those signals and to make a conscious choice to refuse to learn how to swim and to prepare to maybe swim across the lake onto terrain, new footing, new foundation, new environment. It would be insanity. And yet that's what so many people are doing. That's what so many business owners are choosing to do. This is how insane it sounds like when someone says, I'm too busy. I can't make time to learn AI. And so let's learn how to not be the man on the ice. The first step is to acknowledge that the ice is melting. You can only ignore it for so long. So in this scenario, if that man were to just say, wow, this is getting really dangerous, the ice is melting, then the next logical sequence would be, I need to stop doing some of the things that I'm doing now so that I have time to learn the things that will help me when the ice melts. Once you acknowledge that, you start to realize, wow, I probably shouldn't be worried about this meeting over here or doing these things over here if literally the predictable ground that I've built these things on is probably not going to be here or look very different in 1, 2, or 3 years. When you are the person on the ice and you realize that the ice is cracking, you start to understand what you should be focusing more of your time on. In the scenario of the man on the ice, it's probably learning how to swim, learning how to get to a different territory. That acknowledgement is extremely powerful. That awareness is progress. Once you have that awareness and that acknowledgement, the second step naturally comes to surface, which is I should probably stop doing a lot of the things that I'm doing now so that I can learn how to swim. Learning AI cannot be delegated. You have to actually entrench yourself, play with the tools, be in the environment, just like swimming. I can't just read a book or tell somebody to go swim for me. I have to actually learn how to swim and practice so that when that ice doesn't exist or melts completely, I can actually swim. Personally, I made a very tough call about a year ago. I left a lot of short-term money on the table to make space to learn AI 2 to 3 hours a day, to get into the trenches with the learning, and then to start learning YouTube so that I could start sharing that knowledge, that information. I've spoken to business owners that are just unwilling to make these tough decisions that may make them unpopular or may look like a risk in the short term, but will actually put you in a better position in the long term. I think a good way to think about it is, will making this decision increase the chances of me winning in 3 years, 5 years, or decrease the chances of that? I knew for a fact that learning a lot of this, becoming familiar with the environment, and being able to share my knowledge on YouTube, building a community, and then also putting myself ahead of the curve so that I'm suggested on things like ChatGPT was going to give me a long-term advantage. And so I took the risk. Something that Jeff Bezos talks about a lot is that we as humans, we have a tendency to overestimate risk and underestimate outsized returns. The third thing is to understand if you do not make the tough decisions today to make space, to learn AI, to equip yourself with skills that will give you an advantage in the future, you are choosing a greater pain in the future. And I understand that some people are better positioned than others. There's a lot of people that don't necessarily have to work, don't have to have active income. They already made it, they're rich, and they have all the time in the world to play with AI tools. They maybe even have more technology and skills that they're bringing to the table so they can do more with the tools from the get-go. And all of those things are great and dandy, but they won't get you anywhere. Focus on what you can control and just understand that if you choose to not tough it out, to not make the tough decisions that you need to make space for at least 1 hour a day, then you are choosing to experience greater pain in the future. And actually, that's the biggest difference between low performers and high performers. A low performer will choose to not experience pain now, but will experience greater pain in the future. Go through the pain now so that in 3 to 5 years, you are in the best position humanly possible, probably in a better position than you could probably even dream of.